Okay. So I want to dedicate this learning session, Leili Nishmat, my grandfather, Yaakov ben Rav Mordechai HaKohen. It's his Yortzeit today, so it should be Leili Nishmato. We have the Pachad Yitzchak today, and this should be a fun and exciting, something new. This is a brand new language and a way of thinking, so this will be a bit of a journey. This is the first essay in the collection of essays on Rosh Hashana, and this is Mamar Aleph, and this is about, this is the beginning of a series. He builds continuity. These are very, very complex and abstract ideas that are built on a lot of various abstract connections throughout the tradition of Torah, and he builds ideas, multifaceted ideas, and then he successively, so each ma'amar has chapters, each chapter has paragraphs or separate points, and in a series of the first 2-3 ma'amarim, he develops an idea of the essence of what chesed is and how that's tied into the essence of Rosh Hashana in the cycle of the sanctity of time, how we come in contact with the midah of chesed. It's an opportunity for us to work on our chesed. It's a manifestation in a very deep way of God's chesed in time and in creation. So, okay, let's get into it. Aleph. Chidush gadol matzanu ba'avodat hayom shel Rosh Hashana. There's a tremendous novelty, a deep chidush that we find in the service of the day of Rosh Hashana. V'nitgale lanu chidush zeh midivrei Kabbalah. And this novelty has been revealed to us through the words of our tradition in the verse. I was told that in the Pachad Yitzchak, usually when it says midivrei Kabbalah, it means from Tanakh. So the verse, there's a fascinating story we have in Ketuvim, in Nehemiah, which is a description of the Jews that came for the building of the second temple after the Galut of Paras Umadai, after Achashverosh, when Ezra and Nehemiah brought the Jews back to Eretz Yisrael. So it talks about how they taught them Torah, and they re-initiated them in the Torah. They didn't know about the Torah and the mitzvos, and they described, the day was Rosh Hashana, and they were telling them about all the mitzvos, and the Jews were crying. And Nehemiah and Ezra and the Levium, they tell them, don't cry. Today is a holy and awesome day of Rosh Hashana. Ichlu mashmanim shtei mamtakim. You should eat delicacies and drink fancy beverages, and etc., etc. We're going to come back to this pasuk. Ki chedvat Hashem ma'uzchem. Rejoicing in God is your strength today. And he empowered them to rejoice on Rosh Hashanah. And in that story, the verse says, Vayomer lahem, and he said to them, Lechu, go. Ichlu mashmanim, eat delicacies, ushtu mamtakim, drink sweet drinks and beverages, v'shilchu manot le'ein nachonlo, and send portions to those who don't have prepared. The same idea as mishloach manot. On Purim, make sure that every member among the congregation of Israel has what to party today, has fine things to make a su'udah. So, this chidush of Avodah of Rosh Hashana, which he hasn't told us what it is yet, has been revealed to us in this verse in Nehemiah. V'lomdim anu mikan, we learn from here, shema'aseh hachesed, acts of kindness, upu'ulot hatava, and actions that of good to others, doing good, la'acherim, to others, nikba'im b'matbea kedushat hayom, they are inscribed, they are set within the whole form of the sanctity of the day, Shal Rosh Hashanah, of Rosh Hashanah. Meaning there's something intrinsic to Rosh Hashanah that is about chesed and doing kindness to others. This is a essential feature of Rosh Hashanah. V'hatzat hadavarim kachi. Tiku b'chodesh shofar b'kesa leyom chagenu. There's a verse that also we say is very instructive, meaning it is it is descriptive of Rosh Hashanah. It is describing the essence of Rosh Hashanah. And it says, Tiku b'chodesh shofar, blow on the month, blow the shofar, ba'keseh leyom chagenu. Keseh means hidden or covering. At the hiddenness to the day of our rejoicing. Ki chok li Yisrael hu, it is a chok to Yisrael. Mishpat, it is a judgment or justice, le'elokei Yaakov, to the God of Jacob. So this verse describes Rosh Hashanah, an essential feature of Rosh Hashanah, as bakeseh, hidden. So now we have two ideas so far. We're linking things. He's saying that the essence of Rosh Hashanah is manifest in the description of doing kindness to others. And another point we're going to pick up is in this verse, we describe Rosh Hashanah as bakeseh, hidden. Harbe pirushim nemru b'biur milat bakeseh. There are many, many different explanations in our tradition of this word bakeseh, in its covering, in its being hidden. Aval hu'uvda, the fact is, ki hamikra kodesh shel Rosh Hashanah, the sanctified time, the moed of Rosh Hashanah, tzuyan kan, it is pointed at here, meaning it is described, characterized here, b'tevat bakeseh, with the word bakeseh. Eino zaza mimkoma, meaning, however you explain the word bakeseh, we know that bakeseh here is meant to describe the essence of Rosh Hashanah. V'ro'im anu bezeh, and we see through this, ki chag Rosh Hashanah nityached b'tchuna zu shel bakeseh. The holiday of Rosh Hashanah is unique, has been uniquely qualified through this idea of keseh, however you understand it. Orot HaKodesh, the holy lights, shel itzumo shel Yom Rosh Hashanah, of the essence of the day of Rosh Hashanah. Why are we referring to lights here? Because the verse says in Tehillim, Hashem Ori V'ishi, God is my light and my salvation. And Chazal say, what does it mean, God is my light? This is the light of Rosh Hashanah. So the lights of the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, mitoch hakisui, through being hidden, through the fact that they are hidden, heim olim ubokim, they ascend and break through. Meaning somehow the light, the very light of Rosh Hashanah, that which Rosh Hashanah has to reveal, it is through the idea of bakeseh, of hiddenness. So there's an essential feature that we have to understand about Rosh Hashanah that is hidden. And if we were to count or to enumerate, to describe the hiddenness or the revealed and the concealed through the sanctity of time, then we would say, Shemukoma shel Rosh Hashanah, the proper place of Rosh Hashanah, bein hamikra kodesh, amongst the various sanctified times, hu kemikomo shel hatamun ben hagoloi. Its place is that of the hidden within the revealed. Meaning, we want to say like this. So far, what we've said in Aleph is that Rosh Hashanah is chesed. Somehow, it is the whole form of Rosh Hashanah, we'll have to understand, is tied in with chesed, and yet, in its standing in the other holidays of the year, it represents the hidden to the concealed. To the revealed. So there's something about it that is both chesed and it is also concealed. Okay, let's move on to bet. Ubehamkuta inyan, and in the depth of the matter, nira, it will be seen, dihine avodatenu biriboy kvod shamayim ba'olam, in our service of God, in our mission in this world, to make abundant the honor of heaven, ba'olam, in this world, meaning we're meant to be marbek kvod shamayim, the honor, the glory of heaven in this world, mitbatzelet lishnei anafim. That service actually branches off to two distinct branches. Al yedei hagilui va'al yedei ha'alama. We serve God and we call forth and proclaim the glory of God in two ways: through hiddenness, concealment, and through revelation. Umikar hadvarim, and the source of these things, hu bechazal, this is the statement of Chazal, ala katuv, on the verse, Divayachudu hashamayim v'ha'aretz. Right after the initial description of the sixth day, where it says, Vayer vayvoker, Yom Yom HaShishi, it is the sixth day. Then it says, Vayichulo Hashamayim Va'aretz, and the heavens and the earth were completed. And it says on that verse, Amar Rabbi Levi. Rabbi Levi says, Ad Kan, until now, Kivod Elokim Haster Davar. The honor of Elokim, of God, is hiding the matter. Mikan ve'elech, from here on end, Kivod Melachim, the honor of kings, Chakor Davar, is the analyzation, the analyzing and understanding of the thing. Meaning, Kavod Elokim, the honor of God, is hiding the matter. The revelation of God, in terms of Melachim, of his kingship, that is to make it so known, let people analyze. We want to make it, maybe let people go into the depths and see. Okay, so Rabbi Levi is saying that the Chumash, until that verse, that is Kvod Elokim, and that is Haster Davar. Meaning, if you're interested in the glory of Hashem, you will relate to everything until Vayichulu is hidden. From Vayichulu and on, right, the Torah intends for us to make known Hashem's honor, which is described over at this point as Melachim, the honor of a king. Okay? V'hainu, what this Ma'amar Chazal means, the Kavod Shamayim kolel shtei habechinot. The glory of heaven incorporates these two elements. HaKavod, the honor, hayotze mitoch chakirat hadvarim, that comes through, you can, like the Rambam says, how does one come to an appreciation of God? When you look at nature and you think about the implications of such an awesomeness of creation, meaning analyze creation, engage in it to reveal, right, God's honor. Hanitanim l'chakira, those things that are given to a man that he's meant to analyze, that he has the tools to appreciate. He can use his intellect to reveal the honor of God. Meaning, using his intellect to engage, he's revealing the honor of God, and therefore it is an exercise in revealing the Kvod Shamayim. V'akavod hayotze mitoch knizat hadvarim. And then, alternatively, there's the honor that comes from hiding things. Hatoanim kisui, which demand covering ba'otzer hane'elam, in a hidden treasury. The things that are secretive, the intimate spaces. V'lo od, not only these two branches that reveal the honor of Shemayim, or that we engage in order to, for the sake of the honor of Shemayim. Ela shehakavod Shemayim asher b'haster davar, the honor which is manifest through the hiding of things, ma'alato elyonat, it has a higher quality, al gabei hakavod Shemayim asher b'chakor davar. There's something higher about the haster davar, the hidden thing, than the revealed thing, meaning that which you are, what's the word? That honor of Shamayim that you are manifesting by hiding something is greater than the Kvod Shamayim when you analyze and reveal. Shaharei Kavod Asher Behester, the honor that we allude to in the on the side of hiding, Legabe HaKavod Asher B'Chakor, compared to the type of kavod that is associated with analyzation, Hu Ke'erech Kavod Elokut Legabe Kavod Malchut. That is the difference between the honor of God to the honor of a king. Meaning, Rabbi Levi characterized the hiding that we do for the glory of Shamayim as the glory of God, and the revealing that we do for the glory of Shamayim, that's what we call Kavod Malchut, the honor of the kingship. Shekach meforashu bekatuv shehahester davar nikra kavod elokim be'od shehachakor davar nikra kavod melachim. That's why Rabbi Levi said, the honor of heaven by hiding something is called the honor of God. The revealing, meaning the honor of heaven that's done through analyzing and revealing, is called the honor of melachim. Okay? So now, just don't forget that this is all in the context of a point in the Chumash, where we're saying everything until now has the character of hidden. Everything before now is revealed. That's why anybody who learns Bereshit, the hardest part is till Vayichulu. Because all that is talking about an order of things. We're talking really about the map of creation and the DNA of spiritual existence. And it's not really, even though it's told in a narrative, it's not really a story on that level. And that's why Rashi tells you until then all the time. He has many instances where he says, I can only resort to the medrash here. I can't, even in terms of pshat, I can only tell you about the medrash, because we're not really talking about physical things. Anybody who has questions about the first 6 days of creation as described in Bereshis, and any of physical reality that we have today, is totally missing the boat about what the Chumash is coming to instruct. Thank God those who learn with commentaries like the Alshich understand this. And people who learn with the commentary of the Alshich, I guarantee them that the Alshich will be much easier after Vayechu. So that is called the biggest sodot of Maaseh Bereshit, what's called Maaseh Bereshit, which is a whole tchum. There's two areas that the Rambam and all of us being that learn the tradition, right, in the Torah, there's two categories of sodot, of Torah, the hiddenness of Torah. There's something called Maaseh Bereshit and Maaseh Merkava. The workings of creation, the workings of the chariot. The workings of creation are in the Chumash until Vayechu. Those are the sodot. We've been desperately trying to learn what has been reserved for sodot on the level of pshat, just so we can understand the narrative. But it's all the sodot, and it's hidden. That is haster davar, and that's where Elokim. That's the story of Elokim. From Vayechu and on, that's finally Kvod Malchut. Okay. Umitoch ma'amaro shel Rabbi Levi, and through what Rabbi Levi has said, mitbarer lanu, it becomes clear to us, ki hagvul, the line, bein shnei anfei hakavod shamayim, the line that's drawn. What's the difference between these two different aspects of Kvod Shamayim? One is the Kvod Elokim, and the other is the Kvod Melachim. One is Haster Davar, and one is Chakor Davar. That is the stages in the story of Bereshis, before Vayechu and after, which are what? Let's see. Ben shnei anfei hakavod shamayim halalu hu kav hamavdil. That's the line that separates ben hithavut lehavaya, from coming into being to being itself. The creation as a story of slowly, right, hishtalshalut, a slowly steady emanation and formation and evolution of reality. When the story of something coming into being, that is kvod Elokim haster davar. From once things are the way they are, and on the story, which we'll refer to as, he doesn't talk about it here, but in the tradition we call that Maaseh Merkava, the Sodot in the rest of the Chumash, from Vayechu and on, that is Kvod Malchut, Kvod Melachim, that's Chakor Davar, which means
Merkava,
that...
So Maaseh Merkava is from Vayechu onwards?
Yeah. What's Merkava? It's not Yecheskel. Okay? That's a description of something. Maaseh, I don't want to go too much off topic. One way to understand, the way the Rav Nazir puts it in Kol Nevuah, he says that Maaseh Bereshit is how we got to where we are. The spiritual, the formative, the story of how the spiritual DNA of reality came into what it is, right? Maaseh Bereshit, what God put into the world, what God intended for the world to be. That's the mission, right? Maaseh Merkava is how the mission of how to be a Merkava for the Shekhinah, how to allow Hashem to be with us in process to get to the Hashlama of the world. So Maaseh Merkava starts off with the story of Adam, why he fell, how ultimately Avram Avinu and the Avos picked it up, how they were a Merkava for the Shekhinah, how essentially Yaakov Avinu was Zocha to the creation of B'ni Bechori Yisrael, how that was meant at Mount Torah to transform all of humanity, and there should have been a huge tikkun of Mishpachos Haaretz, but we became a single, right, an only child, etc., right? That whole plan, right, that is where the Torah instructs us what we need to know to be a Merkava for the Shekhinah. Okay, so what we're talking here, right, the Pachad Yitzchak is saying that Kav HaMavdil, that line, we'll describe as Hishavus, coming into being, what went into being, the story of creation, to Havaya, what is already now. Okay? So when it comes to process, the Kavod of Hashem, Kvod Elokim, it's called Kavod Elokim because only He is the one that's making into being, and that's, for whatever reason, we'll say is Haster Davar. By the way, don't forget, why are we talking about this? Because in the backdrop, this is somehow going to be a description of what's happening on Rosh Hashana. But we didn't get there yet. So I'm trying to hold all these points because it's very abstract. Okay? So the Kav HaMavdil ben Hitavut lehavaya, from coming into being to becoming, from process to being, from Sheshes Yimei HaMaaseh to Shabbos Kodesh. Shaharei mi bereshis ad vayechulu hu hamakor le'inyan hishtalshelus hisavos. From in the Chumash, from the moment of Bereshis until Vayichulu, that is the Mikar, that is the source for us in our Masorah, for the whole inyan of the steady emanation and formation of existence, the story of Hishavus, coming into being, right? Umikan ve'elach, and from here on end, Hu HaMikar, that is the source, Le'inyan Hanhagas Havaye, how the existence actually works, okay? Ve'yisaskus ba'osam ha'divrei Torah, and the delving into those aspects of divrei Torah hashayachim that are relevant lihitavusam shal hanivraim, to the coming into being, the creation of that which Hashem created, kovat mahalich la'atzma, demands an entirely different approach. Mahalach hisaskus b'divrei Torah halalu, when it comes to us engaging in the Torah, which is a description of coming into being. Hu hamahalach shel hester davar. The mahalach that you have to take is tzniut, to hide things. The Gemara in Chagiga, the second parak, says, the Mishnah says, how you're supposed to teach and learn, how you're supposed to instruct in the Sodot of Torah, in Sisrei Torah. And it talks about how you can't do it in public, how you have to do it with a certain amount of students. They have to be, right, chacham midaitam, etc., etc. There's a certain approach, it's a halachot, right? It's a Mishnah. And he refers you to look at Rashi Divrei Maskil Ela Im Kain in Chagiga Yud Aleph Amud Beis. Ukamuvan she'ein ha'ofi hazeh shel haster davar amor beisaskus im hazulas davka. And obviously, it's understood that you can't use that same approach of haster davar in delving into Torah, other types of Torah, right? Ela shegab benogea lahatam she'adam toim b'divrei Torah. This is very interesting. Also, in regards to the ta'am she'adam toim, the taste that a person tastes personally, b'divrei Torah, b'kerev libo, of the divrei Torah within the walls of his heart. Meaning the Torah that you learn, that you put inside of you, it's not just the information Torah, but how the Torah starts to speak to you inside. There's a difference. Yesh havdel bein hata'amim shel ha'hester davar v'shel ha'chakar davar. The Torah inside you also, in your heart, how you integrate it, it has a level of haster davar and chakar davar. There's Torah that's meant into you, that's supposed to go inside of you, go deeper inside of you, and there's Torah that's meant for you now to be able to take outward, to reveal, right? Shnei kochot hem balashon. There's two powers that are manifest on the tongue. Halashon midaberet umegalel achirin. The tongue is meant on the one hand as output. It's meant to articulate and to reveal to others. V'halashon to emet. But it's also an organ that senses, that's supposed to take input from the outside world for you inward. Umargisha la'atzma, and it feels, it senses for itself. It's on the receiving end too. It's dut stadi, right? It's both mashpia and mushpa, right? V'divrei haTorah shel ha'hester davar, and this type of Torah, this category of Torah, which demands an approach of haster davar, asher aleim ne'amar, that upon them the pasuk says, Devash v'chalav tachas l'shonecha, right? The pasuk says, describes Torah as honey and milk under your tongue. What is it referring to over there? The sweetness and the richness of Torah under your tongue. Why is it under your tongue? Dvarim hametukim midvash v'chalav, words that are sweeter than honey and milk, yiyu tachas l'shonecha, they should be under your tongue. That's the half of your tongue. Right? That's, what does that mean? Subject to your tongue. Tachas l'shonecha. L'shnei hakochot shel halashon hem mechuvanim. This is a reference to the two powers of the tongue. Ukeshem shebenogea lekoach hagilui shel halashon, just like in regards to the power that the tongue has to reveal. Mikomam shel divrei Torah halalu hu betamon. Right? There, the power, the place of these divrei Torah is really bitamun, in hiddenness. Kemo kain hati'ima sha'adam toim b'divrei Torah, the taste that a person tastes when it comes to divrei Torah, halalu, these words of Torah, mikoma, its place, hu bevate gavai, deep inside his inner chambers, tachat l'shonecha. Meaning there's Torah that's meant to be revealed, the Torah, the aspect of the Torah that you're meant to reveal, the tam of it, the taste of it for you. Tam is not just the word taste, it's also reason. To divine the tam of something, that should be tachat l'shonecha, sweetness that is reserved for you, hidden inside you. V'hine mekor motzam shel kedushat kol ha'mikrei kodesh, the source of all the various sanctified times in the year, the Mikroi Kodesh, the Moadim, hu be'avod be'ovdos u'v'ma'asim asher mekoma b'Torah hu mevayachulu ve'elech. He wants to say that you should know that, generally speaking, when it comes to the Kedushat Hazman, how sanctity of time reveals godliness through the time, through the year cycle, for the most part, the Mikroi Kodesh are on the level of Vayichulu Hashemayim and on. They correspond to the level of Torah that's already, meaning once the year has, it goes, the year is broken up now, we want to say, he's going to describe how the year itself is broken up into two stages. Bereshit till Vayichulu and on. And all the Mikroi Kodesh, for the most part, are descriptive of once everything in the year has started, right? Once the year is, and reality is, it will be meted out sequentially by the various Yamim Tovim as a Giloi of the Malchut, Kvod Malchut. However, Shani HaMikra Kodesh of Rosh Hashana, the sanctified time of Rosh Hashana is different. Asher Mikor Kedushato, the source of its sanctity, hu ad Vayichulu, is until Vayichulu. It is the description of coming into being. Just like Bereshit, the Torah, until Vayichulu, is a description of coming into being, everything that happens, its place, Rosh Hashanah's place in the year, is on the level of coming into being. Hayom Harat Olam. Today, the year, the world was conceived. Meaning, we don't just say in the davening, today is the day that the world was conceived, meaning it's the anniversary of creation, but we're saying that Rosh Hashanah is the day of conception for the rest of the year. Okay? It's the coming into being, the creation of everything that's going to follow the rest of the year. That's the avoda and the gilui, right? That's the place that Rosh Hashanah has in the year. And all the rest of the Yom Tovim are already after that level of reality has been established. Okay? Orot HaKodesh, the holy lights, Shal Yom Rosh Hashanah, of the day of Rosh Hashanah, Orot Bereshitim. They are the lights of Bereshis. Ukeshem Shechelek HaTorah HaMishtayach L'Maaseh Bereshit, Miuchad, Hu Be'ofi HaHester Davar Shelo. Just like the portion of Torah that relates to Maaseh Bereshit is unique and special in its character as Haster Davar, hiding something. Kemo Kein Otam HaOrot, those same lights, Shechelek Torah Zo, that this portion of Torah that shine, mazriach letoch kedushat hazman, that shine into the sanctity of time, miuchadim hem beofi hakeseh shelahem. They are uniquely characterized as keseh, hidden. Bakeseh liyom chagenu, the verse that we brought before. Kol tochen shema'aseh hitavut, all content of the story of coming into being, tochen bereshitu, that is bereshit. V'chol tochen bereshit, and all content of bereshit, tchunato kisui vehester. Its quality is covering and hiddenness. Bein b'Torah, bein b'zman, whether we're relating to it on the level of Torah or in time. Kevod Elokim haster davar, bakesa liyom chagenu. Okay, that was all the first chapter of Ma'amar Aleph.
Yeah. So when you're converting it to time, which period is the Hester and which period is revealed in terms of the cycle of the year?
We're saying Rosh Hashana is Bereshit and Rosh Hashana is coming into being. And all the other Mikroi Kodesh, meaning the levels of sanctity in time, whether it's the other Moadim, like Yom Kippur and on, or the sanctity of time, all the various different degrees of sanctity. For example, the Aser Timei, immediately after Rosh Hashanah, you have, whether it's on the level of Aser Timei Tshuva, or Tzom Gedaliah, or whatever level of time, an imprint, and anything that happened in history that puts an imprint, it's Rosh Hashanah is the day of Hayom Harat Olam. It's the Yom. Remember, Rosh Hashanah is also always referred to as Hayom. It's a day. It's a moment. It's the moment of Bereshit. Like we said, all Bereshit, even that whole Bereshit, is in the moment of the first Ma'amar Bereshit. Okay, just as an aside before we pause, you see this in microcosm too, that when God made Chava, and similarly, first, there are meta levels of this, but just when God made Chava, He put Adam to sleep.
That's right.
He put him tardema. He couldn't be present for the process. Yeah. It had to be hidden.
Yeah.
And similarly, this tardema is referred to by the Brit Ben Abtarim when Hashem tells Avraham that Am Yisrael has to go through a process till they emerge from Mitzrayim to be B'nai B'chor Yisrael, the birth. So these are all formative stages of coming into being that require on some level kisui. And you'll see this is a theme. So we relate to Rosh Hashanah. The whole power of Rosh Hashanah here, we've said, is kisui. Okay, we'll pause here.
Beautiful.
And okay.
Chazak Baruch.